All right, this week we are MAGA excited. Are you feeling it? She's feeling it. Okay.
Trump won.
All right, we have excitement in the air. President Trump down in Miami. The rally was totally lit. You can see just from the huge Jumbotron to the amount of people there. There was between, I think they said 15 to 20,000 people
All cheering for
in
the
Miami.
South, right?
Then he traveled up to New Hampshire. Excitement up there, even in these smaller buildings up north. And then there was tremendous excitement in Manhattan, of all places. What happened in Manhattan? Well, there was a a very large bunch of people in Madison Square Garden, but they had a special entourage show up. Kid Rock, Dana White, Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson was with them, along with Don Jr. And when they were at Madison Square Garden, I don't know if you've seen videos of their entrance into the arena, but it was electric. I mean, the crowd absolutely loves President Trump. And so this is like a whole stadium. That people don't do this for politicians. You don't have entire stadiums in America suddenly get revved up. Why do people have this innate interest and currently this great support of President Trump? Well, it's because he's not like other candidates, meaning other candidates, they will get to office and half-heartedly try. Why? Because they want to seek re-election. President Trump will not be seeking any more terms. He will be very much working hard in his second term. He'll be pushing extremely hard with immediate reform, pushing as hard as humanly possible. So I think people innately sense that. They know that President Trump, when he gets back in office, is going to be a bull in a china shop, and that's what they want. They want change.
He already is.
And he talks each week about different policies that's on his heart, things that he would like to see done. On his heart is averting World War III currently.
Woo.
And he said this week, he said, to me, peace through strength is not just a political slogan. It's actually a moral duty. And it's my commitment to you, the American people, that you will not have World War III.
Praise God.
And so he will, of course, through the strength of our military and also through just savvy wisdom of how he handles financial leverage against bad actor nation states, do a lot to avert us from World War III. You might have noticed recently also, he has really softened his talk about abortion and about pro-life issues. Why is that? What's going on there? Well, something Jack Posobiec was saying, what the Democrats are planning to do in all of the swing states, the 5 or 6 swing states, they're going to try to put abortion measures on the ballot to turn each of those swing states against President Trump, against Republicans. And so that is why we're seeing President Trump just not really say a whole lot, because we have seen how that's been playing out in some of the recent elections. So that's what's going on there. But we are winning. We're winning across the board. We're winning. We'll start with the polls. Just amazing stuff. Here we have President Trump leading crooked Joe Biden in 6 battleground states. So now we're even seeing him up by 1 in Wisconsin. It's amazing. It's just simply amazing. Also, this was on November 6th. They had a poll. They asked if the 2024 election were held today, who would you vote for?
Wow.
Donald Trump, 56.1, Biden, 38.8. We're just starting to see huge margins in some of these polls, these nationwide polls. And also, there's this creeping upwards of Trump support among the black community. CNN is finding this out.
Amen.
What did they just find out? That Trump is now leading Joe Biden among men of color. He is polling at 49% of black American men are for Trump, only 46% still holding with Democrats. So that's just, I never thought I would see something like that. That's awesome, awesome. So we're winning in the polls, and we're winning in another huge arena that's so important for the direction of our country. we're winning in the media.
Yeah.
A little public service announcement as we start looking at the media. There is now an emergency procedure. So if you see a friend or a colleague beginning to swallow mainstream media, you might notice some of the signs immediately. Help them.
I like that.
So that is our public service announcement. Very helpful.
I gotta have a big for them.
Also with helpful public service announcement is our new friend, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, a former Democrat, is really helping moderates understand the damage that the Democrats are doing through their policies. In fact, she said when talking about Kamala's current policy trying to counter Islamophobia, she's like, that demonstrates one of the main reasons I left the Democrat Party. She said the Democrat Party's become rife with protectors and apologists for Islam.
Yes.
So she's saying it, and she has a large following, I think just 1.4 million on Truth Social alone, several million over on Facebook, Twitter. So she is helping a lot of people to understand. Also interesting, Vivek
Yes.
Ramaswamy is saying things against the media that nobody ever has said. Like, we've never had political debates where the media has been attacked by the people running for office. It's amazing. And he said this to their face. As he's talking to the moderator, you gotta imagine. And he's like, think about who's modeling this debate. It should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk, and we would have 10 times the viewership. He said they would be asking questions the GOP primary voters actually care about. He goes, this is about you and the corrupt media establishment. And he keeps going. It's amazing. He goes, let's see here. The Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real? Or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation? Answer the question. Go. And he just stopped talking. And so it's amazing. He goes on to talk about how the media rigged the election.
Yeah.
So we've never had that kind of pushback against the media. And now it's not just President Trump talking about fake news. He has helpers now, right? So this might have been President Trump in former years. Well, now who does he have? He has Elon Musk over here with the headgear. He's got Tucker Carlson here. And now a fourth helper, right? Over here we got Mike Johnson. And so, you know, Trump is gaining momentum and the mainstream media is losing momentum. And it gets way better. Are you ready for even bigger news?
Yes.
Are you ready for an early Christmas present?
Yes.
All right. We have Vice News absolutely exploding, coming to a bad end. Vice is now ending several news shows. They're laying off dozens of staffers and beginning to hollow out their news division. Vice News being a very liberal news organization. Are you ready for more good news?
Yes.
Okay. Jezebel, 16 years being the sharp-edged feminist news network and opinion website, they are shutting down.
Hallelujah.
Also, their parent company, GO Media, is laying off an additional 23 staffers. So God is doing ground and pound against the mainstream media.
Amen.
It continues. There's more. NextDoor, a social media giant, had to lay off 25% of their staff. But it gets better. Okay, we're not done yet. We have Google News.
Wow.
They're now laying off 40 to 45 employees.
Right.
But that's not all. There's more. There's more. Over at National Public Radio. Wow, what a disinformation station they are. Their chief executive announced, yep, the network is laying off 10% of its current workforce. It's going to eliminate most vacant positions. They're laying off.
Amen.
Thanks. But there's more. There's more. Outfest. Who and what is Outfest? Outfest is the largest LGBTQ plus film and media organization in the world.
Wow.
What's happening? They had a mass layoff. In fact, ex-staffers are calling for the board president to resign. They're so upset because they're just laying off people left and right. Nobody has a stomach to listen to this stuff anymore. It's not, there's no desire for it. They can't sell it. They can't make any kind of profit. They're losing. So we are winning in the media.
That's right.
We're winning in the polls, and we're also winning in the culture. And now you can see it out there. What's one of the things that we're seeing? We're seeing the Miss Universe contest, but we're seeing it disintegrate. Why? They had to file for bankruptcy. The current boss just did. Why? Because they're planning to bring in transgender contestants. And nobody is really interested in watching that.
No.
They're going woke, they're going broke. It's just like that.
That's right. Yeah, they do.
There is not,
We declare that.
there is not such a heavy appetite for that the mainstream media would make you believe. In
Right.
fact, there's not even
Exactly.
so much of a heavy appetite for gay marriage anymore.
Exactly.
They're finding among Generation Z that support for gay marriage has fallen 11% in just the last 2 years. That's a large change. Now granted, it was as high as 80%, it's down now to 69%. And so not everybody is signing up for that. In fact, it's losing traction. And we're very happy to see that among Generation Z. Also winning in the culture is Disney is facing more dark days ahead. We have Bob Iger planning another $2 billion in cuts just to keep that organization afloat. How's their newest movie doing? Really poorly. Really poorly. They tried another woke, this time a Marvel woke movie, totally flopping at the box office. So we're winning in the culture. President Trump still racking up endorsements. Who is a big endorser that just endorsed him? Bernie Marcus, former or owner of the Home Depot, founder of it. He's like, I'm endorsing him because he is the best person to take on and dismantle the administrative state that is strangling America. That was great news, and also great news, an endorsement that just came this week was from the highest Republican elected official in the land. That would be Mike Johnson. Has announced his support for President Trump. And that's great. That's great. You know,
Help him and bless him.
others have kind of waffled, but no, this speaker is like, no, I'm definitely standing behind President Trump. And
Yay!
Trump won. Okay, another Trump won. All right. Even on the golf course, they're talking about he won.
The beer girl.
Let's see, election integrity. Election integrity is not going away. Mainstream media would like to sweep it aside, but it keeps rearing its head. Why? Because now we have articles of impeachment filed against the Michigan Attorney General. Over what?
Oh, wow.
Voter fraud. Dana Nessel? In the hot seat. In the hot seat. Also in the hot seat is someone who didn't think he would be in the hot seat, the U.S. Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy. What happened? Well, Judicial Watch kept digging, kept filing these Freedom of Information Act requests, and they received 14 pages back of emails between this man, the U.S. Surgeon General, and top Facebook executives going back and forth in 2021 saying, what exactly do you want us to, we're not certain, what do you want us to censor now? Trying to arrange their censorship regarding user posts on COVID controversies. So he's in the hot seat. Also, what's great is Abe Hamada is now firing up another new lawsuit to decertify and redo the Maricopa County 2022 election, where 60% of the machines failed. So good for Abe.
Yay!
Good for Abe. So all these things are continuing to shed light on the fact that we have voter fraud. It's not going to be near as easy to cheat. And one software company making that also a good reality is Fractal. Fractal, I believe the owner is Jay Valentine, and he said, you know, we can catch the phantom voters, and we will do this come 2024. This is a huge, massive database that ties into addresses, and it just will allow real-time, how do I put it, allowing us to track real-time every ballot cast in all 50 states. I forget how many computations it can do every second, like 300 million computations every second. So if a person's going to try to vote from a Walmart or a convenience store or a bank or a UPS box, they're going to be flagged before they vote, and their ballot's going to be flagged before it even gets counted. And he said, you know, this is going to allow us to finally stop losing and begin before the voter fraud even is solidified. Remember, we would always do litigation after we lost and after the voter fraud happened. This is going to allow us to really dig our heels in and catch it early. And this is what ERIC, the ERIC software, should do. But of course, that's all tainted. But Fractal will really be a help. Really be a help. Also positive is good news regarding the 2024 election. 2024 election's coming up. What's some of the good news? This is actually quite funny. I still think it's... RNC Chair, Ronna McDaniel, said, you know what? We will support Trump as GOP nominee, even if he's a convicted criminal. And I'm like, all right, you should. I mean, because it might actually go that far. So here we have them standing up and saying, he is our man. It doesn't matter what they do to him in court. We will still run with this guy.
Yes.
So that is actually a very big positive thing. Also going on is Univision. What's happening with Univision? Univision is this giant Spanish language news center. In 2020, they did not like Trump. They talked quite negatively about Trump. The Democrats would use Univision to kind of disparage Trump. All that's changed because they got bought out by new management. And the new management is very happy to interview Trump, talk to him, and actually has made it somewhat hard for the Democrats to get interviews with them. And they don't know what to do. It's really going to help. It's going to play out in a much higher percent of Latino voters loving President Trump, because they're going to finally hear about the true man that President Trump is.
Yes.
And we also know people have a tendency come election time to vote with their pocketbook, with their checkbook. And we see things like Moody's Investors now lowering the U.S. outlook from stable to negative. I mean, they're saying, listen, we have an economy that's bad. We can't hide it anymore. And these kind of things, while painful right now, will end up helping very much President Trump and other Republicans come 2024. I notice it even where I work. I work at a big retail outlet, and the products we're selling this Christmas season are like in the $10 to $15 range.
Yeah.
Where, you know, is our feature ones, where last year it was like $40, $50 products. But I just don't think people have the spare cash these days. Also showing the mood in the room, the last GOP debate. What does the crowd do during the commercial break? They start a chant. What was the chant? Trump, 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 Trump. He's not even there and he's winning the debate. So people are attending these debates out of nicety and just, you know, kindness of their heart. But their favorite was not at the debate. So, and also a little public service announcement. I know these people are up here acting like they're someone big or something, but the two ones that are the big ones, these two guys are going to be back at some point in the future. And both of them pack, even individually, a whole lot more power than the little lightweights that were up on the stage. And what's beautiful about them, America likes both of them, and has, you know, in that 2016 election cycle when Trump was running against him, they received millions and millions of votes each in the primary, and they'll be back. Very conservative. We'd be lucky to have either one. Also helping us greatly, and I don't think even the media has picked up on it, over the next 14 months, all of this man's policies are dead on arrival in the U.S. House.
Woo!
How? Yes, woo, that's right. How is this going to make his administration look come November of 2024? Really bad. Really bad. So why is it going to be dead the next 14 straight months in the House? Well, because there's one patriot now running the U.S.
Yes.
House. This is a big deal come 2024 election. Also some interesting state news, swing state news that's important. Out of Wisconsin, a judge just made a very wonderful ruling. He said, you know, the state election commission can no longer use their little website called My Vote to illegally send and receive mail-in ballots. He's like, that's a no-no. That is not going to happen any longer. So congratulations to
Wow,
the petitioner
Thank
Jay
you,
Stone
Judge.
who made that happen.
Yes.
Also in Wisconsin, their Senate stepping up to the plate, and they voted in favor of 3 proposed amendments. Listen to these 3. They're going to now outlaw private election funding in Wisconsin. No more Zuckerbucks in Wisconsin. Wow. What else are they going to do? They're going to demand photo ID requirements to vote.
yes.
Wow. What else are they going to do? They're going to ban non-citizens from voting in local elections. Well done, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Well
Yeah,
done.
way to go.
Also in Georgia, there's going to be another constitutional challenge to voting machines. It's set for trial in January, just
Go
around
Georgia.
the corner. Also making the 2024 election more challenging for President Biden is Jill Stein, who has just jumped into the presidential race. So she is now running as a Green Party candidate. Green Party going to siphon off obviously more Democrat votes than Republican votes. So she's adding to the confusion, adding to difficulty. Another difficulty for Democrats in the 2024 election is Joe Manchin has decided not to seek re-election in West Virginia, thereby handing the West Virginia Senate seat to the Republicans because he's the only Democrat that had enough connections, money, and enough likability to win in a West Virginia red state. So, bye-bye, Joe.
Yeah.
See ya.
Also, what's becoming almost a weekly theme is the wonderful revival in the U.S. House.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Things are heating up in the
Yes.
house.
Woo.
And
Yeah.
you know what Mama used to say? If you can't stand the heat, then what?
Get out of the
Get out of the
kitchen.
kitchen, and people are getting out of the kitchen. Who are 3 that are just getting out? Oh, Brian Higgins, Democrat from New York. He said, I've got to leave Congress now after 19 years. Why? Why, Representative Higgins? Well, as he shared with Buffalo News, I've just grown frustrated with the House of Representatives.
Yay.
Why? Because you're not winning anymore, Brian. Okay, because you got a real leader now, Brian. So there's no longer fun to play when your side doesn't win. And so he's not going to run. Big names have joined him. Look who else is not going to run. Earl Blumenauer. Okay, he was the head of the Ways and Means Committee, the most exclusive, famous committee in all the U.S. House. So these are big names saying, yep,
Wow, it's
we're not going to run again. It's just
Yes.
no fun. What are they seeing? Derek Kilmer, what's he saying? Why wouldn't he run? Here, he's right behind Pelosi here. These are big names. What are they sensing? I believe they're sensing that there is no way come 2024 that the Democrats will capture the majority of the U.S. House. And they're like, we don't want more of this, so we're getting out. Also, huge news breaking just later today. It was amazing. Look at what the American Israel Public Affairs Committee is going to do. It's called IPAC. They are gearing up to spend over $100 million as part of a campaign to knock out the squad from Now that is serious money. We're not talking like, we could free up 10 million, 15 million. This is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee saying we are going to spend 100 million to take them out. And so I believe with 100 million, they'll take a few of them out.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Also interesting, now that McCarthy is gone from our U.S. House, it frees us up to do other things. It's freeing up Matt Gaetz
Yay!
to do other things. What's he now going to turn his eye to? January 6th,
Yes.
political
Thank you,
prisoners.
Matt.
So that'll be good.
Protect you.
And this next slide is just a slide, just a gratuitous slide. It was fun. This is Matt Gaetz looking cooler than a human being should be allowed to look. Along with, we call her MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Yeah.
who does a lot of great things like trying to impeach bad guys. We almost took out Alejandro Mayorkas this week. Came very close. MTG was upset because 2 of the people from her state killed in an accident by human smugglers. And so she's like, this guy's got to go. It's a shame he didn't go. But if he did, maybe we'd kind of figure we had the problem solved, but we know that Biden would just appoint some other man that would do nothing at the border. But this will keep the anger stoked, and anger and fear drive election turnout for Republicans.
Yes.
So he'll get his due at some point. Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene, power lifter, again in the news, saying she's going to hold a hearing on injuries caused by COVID-19 vaccines. And she did on the 13th. She said they lied to us for years. So she brought out a whole panel of witnesses. She said, I'm exposing the truth behind the COVID-19 vaccines. And so we applaud that kind of transparency. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Let's talk about it instead of suppress things. One thing of note, there has now been a CR that has been passed to extend government funding in lieu of a shutdown. What really went on? Because I know some people are like, man, we just passed a CR. Why didn't Mike Johnson fight harder? Maybe we could have got some money for the border, or maybe we could have cut some things. Why did he do this? Why didn't he just stand his ground and shut everything down hard? Well, you go back to his, I'll call it his manifesto, his plan. How am I going to win this thing? How do I let Republicans win? He said, I can't let the Senate jam the House with a Christmas omnibus bill. I can't let that happen. He's working with limited political capital. He's like, am I going to make this my Alamo? No, he's going to do it in a different way. What's he really trying to do? He is trying to stop the omnibus bill. He's going to try to get the Congress back to single subject spending bills. Washington, D.C. hasn't done this since the 1990s.
Excellent.
So I'm going to show you in a graph what was his play. His play was this. He's like, I could go for a win in these next 10 weeks and maybe get a few budget cuts with this new CR to extend the funding. Or I could try to get all 12 appropriation bills and win for the next 52 weeks. But I can't have both of these. I'm going to have to make a stand here or a stand there. What's he trying to do? He's like, I'm deciding to go try to ram through all 12 appropriation bills. I've only got 8 of them done, and I'm going to need the months of November, December, and January to work on this. And I know all of us want him to fight. We were like, man, we want to see Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Gettysburg is coming. It's going to be coming in probably April when he starts saying, you know what? We've passed the appropriation bills and we kind of like it. Sorry, you Democrats in the Senate and White House, we don't really plan to budge much off of our figures in these appropriation bills. So that's what's happening here. Some people have been like, well, he's just no different than McCarthy. He's a lot different than McCarthy.
Yeah.
What is he trying to do? He is trying to turn back time 30 years to what the House used to do in single subject spending bills. And he's doing yeoman's work. So we should pray. He's got 8 of them complete. He's got 4 more to go. And you notice something interesting. In all of this time where he's been speaker, there has been no Ukraine funding bill. We haven't seen any of this at all. It's just like it's evaporated. So we're really, really grateful. But we do see things like this coming out of the House. More subpoenas, more Hunter Biden associates, Representative Comer, and all this is going on great. In fact, we're seeing amazing stuff. How about this one from Buttigieg? The House GOP moves to slash his salary to $1. That is just so funny to me. That's amazing. And I think the boldness coming out of the House, the U.S. House, is now transferring over to the Senate. Why? Because look at what Marsha Blackburn suddenly did. She suddenly demanded, we need to subpoena to get Epstein's flight logs. That's amazing. Why has nobody ever done that? Ever had the guts to do it? I think it's tied in with the House is finally fighting and these people are finally realizing we can fight. They've got our back. We can push together against some of this and get some answers. So that was huge. Don't you want to see the flight logs?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
So again, revival is burning bright in the U.S. House. And as our last bit of good news involves Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Who is Ayaan Hirsi Ali? She's a prolific author, New York Times bestseller. She was a devout Muslim, I believe from Mogadishu. I mean, hardcore.
Ooh, yeah.
She saw a lot of the abuses in the Muslim religion against women. Then she went staunch atheist and kind of defended women's rights, defended human rights. And then last Saturday night, announced her conversion to Christianity. And decides to drop it in this beautiful column written to a news organization. And so God is still alive and working in hearts.
Thank you, Father.
For all these things, we just thank God tonight. And we praise Him.